everybody, happy bean day or happy Monday. Same thing. Hey, I'm from New Orleans. Monday is bean day, right? Right? Ask anybody in New Orleans what they're eating on Monday. They're going to say red beans and rice. That's it. It's a tradition. I don't know why it started. I don't know how it started. I don't know who started it or why they started it, but it is a tradition down there. Monday is bean day. Red beans and rice, black eyed peas, white beans. One of the three. Usually red beans and rice, as you know from, I mean, Popeyes is all over the freaking world now, and they've got red beans and rice right there. So that's clearly a thing. I love them. I love my mom's red beans. God, I came in the house a little bit ago, and when outside came in, it's got this wall of smell. And it took me right back to when I was 8 years old, getting home from school. It's Monday, mom's making red beans and rice, and I'm like a Labrador retriever. It's amazing how food does that. The smells and the taste bring us right back to some part of our life. I love it. That's what I'm so passionate about it for. And my mom makes the best red beans and rice you'd ever want to find. She should be doing this, not me. But I don't know that she would with me anyway, so we're doing it. Really simple. I mean, first off, I don't make them as often anymore as I used to, but I try to make them when I ever have a hambone. We did a ham last week, and I forgot to hit record for the most important part of it, so I didn't do the video. But like, there's a part where I score the ham and season it, and I forgot to hit record. Anyway, so the hambone is a real thing now. And my wife and I spent the entire weekend at a G8 summit deciding who's going to get custody of the hambone. She wanted the bean soup. I wanted red beans and rice. And we're doing red beans and rice today, so guess who won? Really simple, though. Really simple to make this. It's so easy. First off, when you are picking your beans, get camellia. I know most places outside of South Louisiana and Mississippi don't carry them. So I get mine from Amazon. I get a 5-pound package. I put them in a Tupperware container back of the pantry. And they stay nice and fresh in there because it's a dry bean. It's not going to go bad. So there's no point in buying 1-pound packages. 2 cups of dry beans is 1 pound. So easy to figure that out from there. Choose the recipe. And all the recipes are based off 1 pound of beans. So you're going to have your Holy Trinity, your onion, your bell pepper, your celery, 2 ribs of celery, 1 bell pepper, 1 onion, and lots of garlic for the Pope. I use lots of garlic. I like garlic. If you don't like garlic, use less. And then you're going to add some fresh parsley, some bay leaves, and then put the beans in, especially the crockpot. Put water like that far above the beans and set it in the fridge to sit overnight so the beans can soak up that water. Next morning, when you go to set it up, like you saw this morning in the little prequel thing, I put them on there and I had a little bit of water, so I add a little more liquid. And I use chicken stock, not water. So anyway, but top it off just a little bit, and you want to make sure that the liquid is above the bean level because they will keep absorbing, and then they'll break down, and that's when they start to cream. And camellia, the reason why I say use camellia beans is they cream better. I've used beans in the other parts of the country I've lived. I've used their local inventory, if you will, and they just don't cream as well. But to cream them, and what I mean by that, you're basically going to mash the beans on the side of the cooking vessel, or you can put them in a bowl and mash them up there and add them back in. And you're only going to take about half a cup to a quarter cup of beans out to do this. You still want to keep some whole beans in there for that texture when you're eating, but the creaminess comes from the mashed beans out of the whole thing. These are about 2 or 3 hours away from being done, and I can about ready to be able to start creaming them now if I wanted to. But typically, you just want to cream them at the end and let them simmer for another 15 or 20 minutes. If you're doing this on the stovetop, save your veg prep for later and just put the beans in a bowl covered with water for overnight. And then the next morning or the next day when you go to cook them, then go ahead and get your veg prep ready and kind of go from there. You don't need to have it all in one. With a crock pot, it's all going to be in one. For the meat, I use andouille. Some people use green onion sausage. I don't know that I can even find good green onion sausage up here, but I use the Aidells andouille, and Aidells, I use them because out of the pre-made sausages that you can buy at the store now, your Hillshire Farm and Johnsonville, I think Aidells is the closest thing I found to a real andouille like you can get down in La Paz. It's just, bar none, the closest thing I found to the real deal. And then I want the hambone or tasso or ham hocks. Those are kind of the 3 next best options for meat with it on top of the sausage. I prefer the hambone over the ham hock. I really love the tasso, but that's something that I cannot find anywhere here. I've called butcher shops, I've called meat purveyors, and nobody knows what I'm talking about when I talk about tasso. For you guys watching, if you want to know what tasso is, it is a cured Cajun ham, basically. They take a piece of pork, they smoke it, and they season it with just a blend of Cajun spices. Thrown into something like red beans, it's delicious. If you haven't tried it and you're from down there, try it. You owe it to yourself. They sell them at Rouse's everywhere. But yeah, it's that simple. Red beans is kind of a no drama thing. Set it all in a crock pot, let it go. For the longest time, the crock pot to me was just a bean pot. I didn't use it for anything other than that. But yeah, so this is gonna keep working. I've got a little close to 3 hours left on here. I'm gonna make some just some cornbread. I get Jiffy cornbread, and I make it per package directions, and I add in a can of sweet corn. And if it's just my wife and I'll add in some jalapenos. When I have the kids here, I don't do that because they don't like spicy things very much. At least not that kind of spicy. So, yeah, put the jalapeno on it after. Anyway, let me get started with that. And I apologize that I didn't record this before I prepped, but I forgot to hit record for that too because I don't know. I have to put a label on my thingy here that says hit record, dumbass. Anyway, we'll catch up with y'all later. Yes, that looks like a lot of garlic. If you don't like that much garlic, don't use that much garlic. I'm making mine, not yours. Andouille up here, the best thing I found is, can't see the label too well now, but Adele's Cajun andouille. I find that to be a lot better than the Smoky Hollow or what's the other one, Johnsonville or whatever the hell else it is. Hey, you got on the inside right there all the stuff we cut up and got ready. Put the beans in. Just going to cover this with water just over the surface of the bean. Keep in mind with the slappy mama, that can be a little spicy, but we also have a jalapeno here, so we don't want to overdo it. Now, this is going to sit in the fridge overnight like this. Tomorrow, when I'm going to plug it in, I'm going to have to add a little bit more liquid, and I'm going to add the ham bone on top after the liquid's at the level I need it at. I don't want the ham bone to displace the water, so I don't know how much water is in it. So this is going to sit overnight and soak up and get all happy. See y'all in the morning. All right, so you can tell the beans plumped up a little bit. They softened a little bit. They got a little bit bigger. I'm absorbing the liquid that's in there. We don't have to add much to it, surprisingly. Usually you have to add quite a bit more. That's about halfway done. Let's check and see where we're at. So it's looking pretty good. A little more liquid than I'd like to see at this point, but I'm going to add about a teaspoon of chicken base right now. Topped off with just some water this morning. I'm going to add just a little bit of chicken base, not much, just to give that just a little bit more flavor punch. And we didn't add much salt to it either, so that's another reason why I'm going to be okay using the chicken base. All right, I want to talk about creaming the beans. So this is kind of liquidy right here. We want the creamy texture that you'll see when it's all said and done. But to get that, I take the beans and I mash them against the side of the pan just like my mom does. She makes the best red beans I've ever had. There's no reason to try and do anything different to her, in my opinion. But you could also, like some people do, they'll take a ladle and take some of these out, put them in a bowl and mash them up, or some people put them in like a food processor and blend them or process them down. Do it that way. I'll stick with what I know works because I know it works. So that's basically where I'm at right now. I'm just creaming them up and move on from there. All right, so after about 8.5 hours total that it's been in the crock pot, and we've creamed it. We creamed it about 2 hours ago. So this is what we got. Those last 2 hours with the cream, and this is what basically happened. Hello, all right there. There's a clean ham bone right there. There's no meat left on that thing. Or the other one that was in there. Oh yeah, that's what you want right there. All the meat just falls off, and the collagen and all of the goodies get into the beans. That's flavor right there. That's gonna be beautiful. That's gonna be awesome. And you can see the cream. When you cream the beans like that, you mash them up. That's what you get. You go from soup to nice creamy beans.